Our defense, it's been okay. We've had some guys out of position. We've had to play people because of injuries, places that they don't normally play. The balls that we get to, we're going to be really good at. I mean, I think our guys are very professional and they're going to do their job when they get to the ball. But, I mean, you take Girardi out of the outfield, you're taking a Gold Glove guy out of the outfield. And that's not easy to replace. And we put a lot of different people out there in left field since he's been gone. And that's not easy to do.
Standing in the back.
So obviously not the offensive explosion you might have liked yesterday, but it was enough to get the job done. How much do you think they can build off of that, and how much do you think that takes the pressure off?
You know, I hope a lot. Obviously, you look at the last 7 or 8 days, offensively it hasn't been a lot of fun for us, and we were able to squeak out a game yesterday, and hopefully that gets guys going, and be good to go off on this West Coast trip with a win tonight.
Alex had mentioned he felt as though he found something in his last at-bat. Have you seen anything in him that leads you to believe he's about to break out?
I've seen him hit some balls hard. You know, I thought he hit the ball out the other day to left center. I thought he drove, he had a double to left center. He hit the ball hard. I thought he hit the ball out the other night to right center. I thought the wind played a factor in that. I can't tell you that for sure, but I thought it did. And, for him, it's just, Alex, he can get on a streak. And when he gets on a streak, he can carry you. And if he feels good, I mean, that's a good sign for us.
It seemed like yesterday in particular was really trying to do the little things as well and contribute in any way, not only defensively but on the base paths.
That's what Alex does. I mean, he's a complete player, and he's very heads up. He's very smart. He knows how to play the game. So if he sees a little opening that they're going to give you, he's going to take advantage of it.
Look at Andy Pettit, obviously a small sample size this season, but what's impressed you most about him so far?
I think the durability that he's shown in the first 2 starts, the fact that he was able to keep his velocity up after taking a year and a half off, give us 115 pitches. I'm not sure I asked him to give us 115 in 2010. So I've been impressed with his durability so far. I know it's only 2 games, but for a guy that's 39 and hasn't pitched in a year and a half, he's responded pretty well.
Harp and Andrew.
It's a shame we think 39 is old.
Joe, the way you used the bullpen last night, is that maybe what you're going to have to do more mixing and matching with guys that you might not have thought of earlier in the year?
Probably. I'm going to have to do that from time to time. And, if Boone gets the first guy out, I probably leave him in there, and I don't mix and match so much early on in that situation. But with Billy Butler being the go-ahead run, I just felt that it was important that we, get a right-hander in there. But you're right, I'm going to have to mix and match more, and it's not so cut and dry 7th, 8th, 9th. It's look at where they're in the lineup, get your lefties against their lefties and your righties against their righties.
Okay, well, why is Mark batting third?
Well, you look what Mark's done over his period as a right-handed hitter. He's been outstanding. He's done a lot of damage here. 3 years that we've had him, and I just put him there. I mean, we have not swung the bats particularly well against left-handers as a club this year. So I'm going with some track records and putting some guys where they've had a lot of success, and I put him there.
Against righties, would it be different for Mark?
Well, we'll make that decision Friday.
Mark talked about maybe he wasn't waiting for his pitch as much as he should.
To share?
Yeah. As much as he should, so he would drive one for power where he's been putting too many balls in play that maybe he didn't want to. What have you discussed with him as far as his approach?
I let Kevin handle most of that. He's our hitting coach, and that's his expertise. And it seems like every year, a lot of times we talk about Mark early in the year, and then at the end of the year, we don't talk about him so much. When he's got his 30 plus and his 100 plus. You look at his at-bats, I think his at-bats have gotten better. Unfortunately, he's been plagued by this cough. I still see him coughing from time to time. It's obviously not as much as it has been, and I look forward to him getting going.
Middle, couple questions, couple hands. Stand, you just hand that behind you.
Did Brett have his MRI yet?
I have not got a result from it, and I'm not sure if he even went today. That's a question I didn't ask our trainer. I know he was supposed to get it, but I didn't know if it was today or tomorrow.
Do you still anticipate him and David going down to Tampa?
Depending on the results, yes.
Joe, we just had the Rafael Soriano press conference. In terms of health or workload, did you have any concerns before you made him the closer?
No, I didn't. I've watched him work from afar and had a chance to manage him obviously a year. And he's a guy that I've always felt that could go 3 days in a row. And he's honest. You know, he's been honest with me when he feels good and doesn't feel good. And sometimes when you have a guy like him go 3 days in a row, you might have to give him 2 days off. But golly, I would like to need our closer 3 days in a row. That would be nice.
Mark, Art,
Joe, you talk all the time about the guys with track records. Now you have faith that they'll come around and be what they are. And you used Derek as the example several times from last year. Does that ever get difficult to do when they go through an extended slump of saying they're going to get it done and you just have to have that faith? Does that get hard to do?
You know, I think sometimes when it's just one guy struggling, it's easier for a lineup to put up runs in a sense. And you may not talk about one guy so much or two guys so much when it's really kind of the opposite to me. You know, when everyone's struggling, sometimes you talk about one or two guys a lot. When maybe only one guy's struggling and you're swinging the bats and you're still scoring runs, it kind of gets swept under the rug a little bit. But you got to trust that track records are track records. I know eventually one day a track record is not a track record. I mean, that's what happens. But I don't feel like a lot of our hitters are at the age where their track record should just be thrown out. So it's something that I think we all have to be patient through at times. There's frustration, I think, amongst some of the guys in that room because they know how productive they're capable of being, and none of us like to lose, but you have to have faith in what guys have done.
But in the case of the two guys in the middle of your lineup right now who have been struggling, one of them is 31, 32, so I assume you have confidence that he's still
What happened to you?
Not that Texas still
Are you going to Tampa Thursday?
No, sorry, California. But when you look at Alex, going to turn 37 this summer, does it start to make you wonder at all about, will this be the time that the track record doesn't show up?
I'm sure because he's 37, I'm going to be asked that a lot more. And Mark, only time's going to tell. You know, I think he's hit some balls here at our ballpark on normal days. They're home runs. You know, and I can go back to the ball that Jeet hit, the lead off the game. I'm not sure what day that was. I was convinced that that was a home run. I said, "There's one run," and they didn't even get to the wall. You know, because you hear the sound, and we're so close to the sound. And there's a couple balls this week he's hit at home I thought were home runs for sure. But I believe that the wind got him somewhat. And as you said, I'm going to be asked that question a lot. And I understand that, as I was asked it about Jeet when he was 36. And only time's going to tell.
Art.
Joe, regarding the bullpen, is Epley a guy who's been a surprise, and are you still learning about how much you can trust him with that kind of the sidearm delivery?
If your bullpen was intact the way it was supposed to be before the injuries, you could probably learn a lot slower and be a little bit more patient on situations that you put him in. But you look at his track record, he's a ground ball guy. And that's kind of how I have to use him. You're looking for a double play, you're looking for a runner on third and the infield's in. And those are the situations that I've kind of picked for him the last couple days. He's obviously from throwing from his arm angle, he's going to have probably more success against right-handers than left-handers. So I'm going to have to pick that. But I don't think I have quite the luxury I would have had if you had the Mo, the Robinson, the Soriano with what do I have here? He's kind of getting thrown into the fire like some of the other guys. And he's done a really good job.
This is a question about Alex, but I'm going to bring up something you said about Jeter a year ago. When Jeter was struggling, I think you said, I don't think he'll hit 330 this year, but I think he can hit 330 the rest.
The impression I got from the press conference that happened before yours was that the Soriano, when it was constantly asked whether or not he was the official closer for the Yankees. I understand that Mariano's situation right now is still up in the air, but at least for the 2012 season, you give us the impression that he hasn't been given like the official title of, not that he needs one or anything like that, I don't know, but is he the official Yankee?
He's closing games for me. I mean, he's my closer. You know, and every spot has to be obviously earned, and you have to continue to produce. But he's my closer. I mean, when there's a tough situation, it's a closing situation. I've been bringing Rafael Soriano in, and you know, it's obviously he's had a track record as a closer that's been very successful, and I expect him to do that here too.
Thanks, good.
Roger and Andrew.
Joe, does that mean that when Robertson is healthy, if Soriano's been getting the job done, you're going to stick with him?
Well, let's just see where we are when Robbie gets back, you know, and how Robbie's doing and how he feels. But I mean, I'll cross that bridge when the time comes. But been comfortable bringing in Sori where we're bringing him, you know, because of his experience and what he's done.
Yeah.
Now you can ask another
Go ahead, give it to him. Come up.
one. Well, usually you ask it in a different way. Yeah, I know.
What does Robertson have to do to get his closer job back?
Well, you know what? Here's my prayer. Let's just get Robbie back, you know? Let's just get him back to where he's feeling comfortable, and let's get him in a game before we start, you know, making official decisions. And you guys had him in a tiz the other day, because, you know, he talked about being back in Detroit, and you asked the question, would he be back on Sunday? And I said, I think it's going to be pretty hard to do. And Robbie thought I meant the following Sunday. He said, what do you mean I won't? I said, whoa.
Okay, thank you.